Canada's energy future is assured, right? Think again. Most Canadians realize that on account of the Athabasca tar sands, we have the second highest level of oil reserves in the world behind Saudi Arabia, and we have vast amounts of natural gas as well. So it would seem that the future can't be anything but bright. However, that's no longer the case. There's a bunch of contentious issues for our energy sector. I mean, first and foremost, obviously, are the environmental issues and native land claim issues. And the companies have been dealing with these for a long time, and so they're used to dealing with these, and they're making tremendous efforts to prove their good stewardship of the land and so on. And in this age of full accountability and the fact that you'll be torn apart in social media if you don't behave properly, this is helping them with the discipline in those areas. But then there's things like political interference. Both Thomas Mulcair, head of the NDP, and Dalton McGuinty of the Ontario Liberals have at various times talked about the Dutch disease and how it applies to Canada. And basically the Dutch disease is a situation where high commodity prices drive up a nation's currency, and that hurts the export-dependent manufacturing sector. Now, Mark Carney, head of the Bank of Canada, recently gave a speech that was entitled, "High commodity prices are unambiguously good for Canada." And that's true, because good returns for our resource companies, that means tax money, and it means jobs in production and construction and in monitoring and research and so on. But that doesn't necessarily mean that certain constituencies won't be swayed by the argument. And then we come to another factor, and that is that the US, on account of new technology, is finding oil and gas like mad. In fact, they found so much gas that there's now talk about natural gas pipelines running from Ohio and Pennsylvania to Ontario. And if that happens, that will replace gas that's coming to this province from Alberta. So we have to be looking for customers not just to the south, but to the east. We've got to turn our attention to the east. And that's why there's all the talk about pipelines and rail systems and so on to take oil and liquefied natural gas to the Pacific. But there's some problems there too, or some contentious issues. And first of all, those transportation systems have to be approved. And that means that the hearings have to come up with positive findings that are taking place right now in British Columbia. And then there's also the matter of whether or not the customers overseas are assured as we would like them to be. We're not the only people in the world looking for customers in Asia. For example, in Australia, they're currently building the largest liquefied natural gas facility in the world. It's something called the Gorgon Project, backed by Shell, Chevron, and Exxon. And it's at Barrow Island, off the coast of Western Australia. And by the way, it's in an ecologically sensitive area. And once it's completed, Australia will then have 4 export-oriented LNG facilities. So we've got to compete for customers. So our energy sector isn't the sure bet that it once was.